What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we got another great one for you. What we're going to be talking about is how much dividend income I'm able to generate from a nearly $26,000 dividend focused portfolio. This is something that's taken a while for me to build up over time. You can go back and see the history of the videos I've put out to look at just how this portfolio came to be. Another thing that we're going to do in this video is take a step aside and look at the future and the potential of this portfolio. Look at potentially what's going to be coming in dividends in the future, as well as how this is going to grow. So I'm really excited. There's a lot that's going to be covered in this video, so let's just get started. All right, now listen, if you guys are brand new to this channel, just coming here for the first time, well, I want to say welcome. My name is Dalton. This is dlitztv, and on this channel, we talk about all things investing. And like I said at the beginning, what we're going to be covering, I guess, is this past month of the dividends that I received, as well as looking at the future potential of this portfolio. So it's a lot of great stuff. I'm super excited to get into it. So what I'm going to do, flip over here, I am going to go ahead and open up the Robinhood investing app. So you should be able to see it on the screen right now. And this is an overview of my Robinhood portfolio. So you can see this is $19,000 of that $26,000 that I did mention. And if you guys didn't know, one of the quickest and easiest ways to go ahead and see your dividend income from something like Robinhood is you can click on the little guy icon in the bottom right-hand side of the screen. It's going to flip you over to right here. You can then click on statements and history, which is right there in the middle of the screen. When you open that up, it's going to bring you to all this different history right here. It's going to show you buy, you sell, dividends you receive, all these different things. Go ahead and click show more, which right now is in the middle of the screen as well. And then right within this screen at the top, you can scroll over and you can show dividends only. So it's really cool. It's a fast, simple way to get there. This is going to show you all the income that you were able to generate. Now, I'm not going to go through each and every one of these stocks one by one, but I'm going to go to the beginning of March. The first dividend that I received in March from this portfolio alone, so looking at this like $19,000 portfolio, was $14.82. Now that's from Pfizer. That was from 38 shares of Pfizer. And, looking at them, what I saw behind Pfizer was basically a play against the pandemic, a play against vaccines, and trying to see if that's going to pan out. Now, my actual investment, I guess, hasn't really gone up too much. It's been relatively stable since I invested in it. But again, I'm able to collect that dividend income as it rolls in pretty nice. I got Microsoft at $1.41, one of my best investments in terms of return. Microsoft was very solid. I only have 2.5 shares, but of this, I'm up like 50% just off the market alone. And then we got NextEra Energy. Again, I'm about even on NextEra in terms of my investment, but I was able to return $6.03 off of around 15.5 shares. Now jumping into Realty Income, there's $7.32 right there off of 31 shares. Pretty solid information. Then we got PSEC. PSEC was one that I just got for free. I just didn't sell this free share. I have 4 of them, and so I was able to capitalize on on almost a quarter right there, 24 cents. Jumping back and looking at SCHD, this is one of the ETFs that I invest in terms of higher dividend payments. So a lot of people ask me my favorite ETFs when it comes to dividends. I love SCHD and SPHD. You're going to see SPHD later on, but SCHD 15 shares was able to net me $7.54 this month. Moving forward, VTI. This is one that, doesn't have the highest dividend yield. If I go into view VTI right here, this is one that I hold in my Roth IRA as well. We'll take a look at that in a few moments here. But dividend yield, again, 1.36%. Nothing too special, but it is nice. This is the market tracer. And going from there, SPHD, as I mentioned, this is a monthly dividend payer, and very solid stuff coming in at $8.69 here. Now, as I mentioned, I do have a few different accounts. I actually have a little bit of dividend investments in webull investing and M1 Finance as well. And a majority of my investments have actually been coming from M1 Finance. So what I'm going to do is open that up. I'm going to go into, this is my growth portfolio, but I'm going to go ahead into my Roth IRA. I made an initial investment, just $6,000. I maxed it out for 2020. I'm going to be maxing it out for 2021 as well. But I was actually able to capitalize on some dividends from VTI from this as well over this past month. So look at that, 21 shares right here. That was able to net me a pretty solid amount of dividend income as well. Nothing too special. Again, VTI isn't the biggest in terms of dividends, but this one is more of a play on growth as well within the market because it's going to trace the market. And when you invest in something like VTI, you can expect somewhere between an 8 to 12% return annually from the stock market. Now, I just want you guys to keep in mind that by no means am I claiming to be a stock market expert. I am not a financial advisor. You're definitely going to want to take any information with a grain of salt. Look up, do your own due diligence, the whole 9 yards. This is the spiel that I give you. If you're a returning viewer, you see this stuff all the time, but I just can't stress it enough. And what I'm going to go ahead and do now is show you a website that I talked about in my last video when I was talking about tracking and sharing my dividends with the world, I guess. So what I'm going to do is now share another screen here. Right here, this is the trackyourdividends.com website. I did an in-depth review of this website in the last video that I put out, but here, this is me using it in action. I'm reporting the portfolio that I have for dividend income, and this is across all of my different portfolios. So when you look at this, you got all the investments that I'm making at the bottom of the screen here, and then at the very top, you've got the dividend portfolio name with the value. So $26,211 consist of this portfolio. Now within that, I've actually capitalized where you see this green $2,040. That's how much money I've made from this portfolio, not including the dividends that are being paid. So I've made significantly more money from this portfolio. That's just the capital appreciation so far. If I were to sell the portfolio, that's how much money I would have made from the market itself. Now the dividend yield on this portfolio is 3.19%. The yield on cost is 3.46% with an annual income of $836. So from this $26,211 portfolio, we're making $836 in completely passive income through dividend investing. It's something that's really solid. Now, there are a few people that were skeptical on the last video looking at this website. They were saying that their information doesn't necessarily line up exactly correctly with this website. There's a few things you need to keep in mind. This, I believe, updates every 2 hours. I was reading some information on it. And when you look at this, you got to break it down a little step further. So I'm going to be really, I guess, cautious moving forward, making sure that values align with my portfolio. So for example, the future projections, I'm going to make sure that's actually what I'm receiving in dividend income. And that'll be in a video in the future. But for now, what I really love to view on this is something like the upcoming dividend section, where if you drill down into it, you can look at the payments that are pending, the payments that are going to come in the future, and get an idea or an estimate of payments that are going to be made in the future. Now, again, it's not guaranteed that this is exactly what you're going to receive, because some companies will stop offering dividends, some will skip some dividends, some may not offer it. But for the most part, this is pretty accurate because I invest in purely dividend companies, dividend growth companies that over time have been increasing their dividends for so long, it would be really shocking to see them stop paying those dividends. So right here, you can look at the different valuations. This is what I'm projected out for the next year. Now you can see in May, I'm going to be projected $78.31. I actually went through my investments. That looked pretty accurate to me, and I haven't gone beyond that because it's harder to get estimates for those. So then the next month, that'll be, I believe, the first month where I broke $100. It would be $104.93. And then you're going to see it drop all the way down to $19.14. And if you're just learning about dividend investing, you might be like, what the heck? Why would it drop so much? Well, what happens is some companies will pay dividends at different times, right? It'll be different quarters. Some companies will pay monthly dividends, so it's bound to see some fluctuations in your portfolio. Now, getting back to this screen right here, just going forward, the next month, $86.64. Following that, $96. So relatively, I'm around $100 from all of this. But then again, those big drops to like $27. It's just interesting to see. And again, as you scroll down, you're going to see the unconfirmed ones. You're going to see the confirmed ones. It's going to give you all these different information. You can go very far out with this. Let's say, we're looking in September here. All these obviously are unconfirmed because they haven't been announced by the companies. But it's just something to keep in mind. Now, again, this probably isn't going to be 100% accurate. Going forward from this, let me head into the future value of this portfolio. And this is where people were a little bit skeptical as well. So getting into this section, it's loading right now. I just clicked on it. Now getting into this section here, I'm really excited. I mean, this is where you actually see the dividend snowball starting to take place. So this is where you can see the projected values of your portfolio. You can see we're in 2021 right now with a value of $26,210. And by 2030, it's predicting around $39,478. Now, this is where some people started to get a little bit skeptical about the return that you're going to see from this portfolio. These numbers just seemed a little bit wonky for them. And I want to tell you why I think it's actually a conservative approach here. Let's see, you got this $25,000 portfolio. You're wondering, how is that turning into this $39,000 valuation at the end of this time period? What's going on here to make it grow by that much? And there's a few different assumptions you need to make. You see, this is one that is really important right here. This is your annual dividend payment. You're being paid, let's just round down for this example, $800. Let's say that for the next 10 years, every single year, you're going to get $800. So I'm going to multiply this by 10. And you're looking at an $8,000 dividend. Now let's assume that you're going to be reinvesting that money. You got a $25,000 portfolio plus 8K. What is that? Around $33,000 just off of that alone. But you have to remember there's more factors that play in the stock market. You see, this time period right here is extremely important as well. This is 10 years of data. And if you guys have watched any of my other content that I put out, or if you watch, pretty much any other finance YouTuber or just learning about the stock market, what you can expect on average annually from the stock market is a 6 to 8% return. So on top of this, if you start with that $25,000, you get a 6 to 8% return this year. Obviously, you're going to be able to grow this portfolio pretty significantly, and that makes this $39,000 value realistic. Now, you have to remember that this is on average, that 6 to 8%. So some years it may be lower. Some years it might drop. And that's why it's super important to be a longer term investor. If you're making the right investments and you can keep it in the market, it's super important to help grow and stabilize your portfolio. All right, so now that we know how that value came to be, let's go even further out. Let's look at 25 years from now, how this portfolio is going to change if we just reinvest those dividends and let the market do its work. So as this loads, this is why dividend investing is my favorite method. So you're starting with this $26,213.53 portfolio. Well, 25 years from now, in 2045, that's going to turn into $199,129.59 just by letting it grow, letting the market do its work, reinvesting those dividends. And so this is why every time I put more money into my dividend portfolio, it goes right back into more dividend paying companies. It increases my annual dividend and it increases the portfolio value as a whole. And I can see all of these update real time. So every time I make an investment, I'm super excited to hop onto this website, plug it in, and see how it's going to impact my financial future. All right, now dividend investing isn't for everyone. I've tried a number of different styles. I still do them actively. I do growth investing. I invest in funds in my 401k, my Roth IRA. I do a number of different things, but what I've found is that the dividend investments have outperformed these other investment styles. And so there are drawbacks to dividend investing, like taxes, and there may be reasons why you want to stray away from it. I've highlighted them in videos in the past. But again, this is something that has worked for me. And having that end goal, being able to see the picture of what my portfolio could become if I'm consistent, if I add to it, that helps me coming back time and time again. Another thing is, as the stock market declines, you're going to get dividend payments. It makes you feel a little bit better. It helps me, gives me that peace of mind, and you can't really put value on a peace of mind. So at the end of the day, love it or hate it, just being able to look at the money coming in and look at the future projections, it's really cool. And if you guys did take anything away from this video, it would really mean a lot to me if you would just smash that like button, get it out on other homepages. That's what it does for me. It actually promotes this channel a little bit more. And it would really mean a lot to me if you guys would support me in that way. And so anyways, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. I hope you have a great day. It can't just be me that thinks that this is cool. I mean, come on.